Hey guys, I wanted to record a quick video about tangents. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot, but some of you know it and it's habitual. Some of you understand it, but only do it when you're really thinking hard about it, which is not usually in a race. And then some of you are still struggling to understand the concept. So what I did is I drew out the Claremont course, just on the run course for frame of reference. So here's the beach. This is a Google Earth. Here's transition area here, finish line is right in here. And so what I did is I just picked this spot right where you'd be coming out of transition, but this is also where the run turnaround is from lap 1 to lap 2. And so this little black spot right here I'm using as a consistent marker. And so I made two lines, if you can see here. The blue line follows generally the right side of the course, and the yellow line is the tangent. And so I don't know why, for some reason on this course more than almost any other course, it's very, very common to see athletes just kind of hang to the right and also just follow the people around them, both in the EDR as well as the elite race too. I've seen it a lot in both races. I'm not sure why, but here's an example. So as you're coming out of transition, starting your first lap, it's typical for an athlete to maybe just stay on the right-hand side of the road, kind of running in the right-hand area. But what a tangent would be is if you have half the road to run in, so you can't cross over the double yellow here, but you just kind of, so you release off this corner, looking straight at the next corner, hugging the inside here. And as we progress to the next corner, so as you start to exit this corner, you're looking at the entrance of the next corner, and you want to run a straight line from this corner to this corner. Okay, so that's a direct line, obviously a shorter distance there. Now, as we move around, let me see if I can get this section here. Yep. And this is another common one. I've actually taken pictures and video of here, but I couldn't find any that I'd kept on my phone. It's really, really common. If you look real close, you can see a white line here. And I don't know why, but so many times I see athletes just running along this white line, and they just kind of follow it. They don't even run close to the grass. You know, they're giving up a couple extra footsteps there. But this little chicane here where it kind of goes to the right and then the left and then the right, then the left, you should be running a straight line from the inside of one corner to the inside of the double yellow, to the inside of the next corner, to the inside of the double yellow, and then to the inside of the next corner here, and then you're releasing again, and then hugging this long extended curve. You should be right on the double yellow line for this long extended curve. And it's just, think about running around the track. I think every lane of the track adds like 6 meters, give or take. So if you're hugging the inside of this turn versus running on the outside, think about how many footsteps that does, that adds. And so what I did is I recorded the distance here, because I'm not taking a measuring wheel down to Claremont with me. That's just too cumbersome. But what it shows is 11 meters difference. So this is about your turnaround, give or take. So from there back to where we kind of started, the transition area, it's 11 meters difference for one length. So you're obviously going out and back and out and back again. So by the time you're done, not even including the little run as you started running around transition, or the extensions here down to the finish line. So not even including that, you're looking at 44 meters difference total over the course of a race. And at a 6-minute pace, that's about 10 seconds. And so that may not sound like a lot, but when you're in race mode, think about half a football field, then you know how long that seems, okay? And if we're being more specific than that, if we think about 10 seconds, let's look at last year's results. 10 seconds, so we got a 102.47 was the winner, and third place was 102.52. So that was 5 seconds difference. So 10 seconds difference in last year's race could be the difference between winning and coming in fourth. So the difference between top step, $1,500 in your pocket, maximum points, versus fourth place, which may or may not be a good result. But you know, if you're not running the tangents and you could find 10 more seconds, that could be the difference between a lot of money, a lot of points, photo ops and things like that. So just something to think about. Also, to this point, while we're looking at times, looking at the run times, you kind of notice they're a little bit slower for what you would expect. And that's why it's so critical that I mentioned for you guys it's ideal to wear your timepiece, your GPS watch during the race, and just have it running. I mean, literally you can start it in the run setting before you even start the race. You don't have to think about it, as long as you stop it at some point after you finish the race. Then we can look and analyze the data. And so what I did, we looked at the data last year, and we found out this course, I think it was 2.24. And so, you know, I did the age group race, and so I had some data. I think Brittany had some data. We had some data points to work off of. And so we found out it was about 0.13 or 0.14 long. And so that tells us on average it's about 40 to 45 seconds longer. So these times you're seeing are not really reflective of accurate run times. And you don't know that if you didn't find your own data. So if you want to figure out how well you ran, or how well you paced it, or how you ran relative to others, you need to have your own data coming out of the race. So that's why it's important to get your own data and not just rely on race results. Because also within these times, you also don't see how fast was the first K, how fast was the second K. Did you really fall off at the end? Did you go out too slow? Did you go out too fast? So on and so forth. And that can be telling your pacing when we also correlate that to the power data that you get off of your bike computer. And so that's why we want power data, because was it a really hard bike, more harder than usual, or was it really easy? Or was it just a kind of an average bike? And that can be indicative of how well you run and how that might affect your run. So we can look at those parameters, okay? So that's it. Just wanted to kind of talk through some of those things. So thanks for watching. If you have any specific questions, please reach out to me, because this is a critical concept. Again, the first principle is to understand it, or first key is to understand it. The second key is to be able to do it when you're thinking about it. And the third key, and most importantly, is to make it habitual. It should be subconscious, because in a race, you're not going to be thinking about, I need to run the team. And maybe you are if you're by yourself, but if you're with a group, are you cognizant enough to let go of that group and run your own line if it's a more efficient line, rather than running to the outside? Even this weekend in Super League, we saw a lot of people running on the opposite side of the road and then cutting back over before the next turn, wasting 5 footsteps in the process. So when you're talking about a race of seconds, no need for that. So, okay, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.